have been numerous male feminists just like you who have been exposed for being predators on this very act.
And were that concern for women genuine, you'd have nothing but support.
And if you genuinely have concern for women, why is it that the first thing you say in both this video and the video I was responding to, a defense of your own ego and reputation?
Didn't just say that they wouldn't be surprised if another male ally turned out to be a predator. They went much further.
If this is about defending women, why is your top concern defending your reputation first and foremost?
The same logic is applied to conservative politicians. You can't step in to say it's all politicians fast enough.
Pump the brakes. Despite using the name Libertarian Jesus, you think I'm a conservative? Do you actually understand politics, or is your understanding your ideas and everybody else is fascist or whatever? Furthermore, the video you're referencing was not originally done by me. It was a duet by JD, who does prison content, convict content. JD is not a political commentator. He rarely discusses politics at all. However, this was one of the exceptions because one of his followers asked him if conservatives or liberals are more likely to be kid diddlers, and he responded by pointing out, politics doesn't define whether or not someone wants to be a diaper sniffer. If you look up the list, both conservatives and liberals, Republicans and Democrats tend to be convicted for this crime at the exact same rate. And as a libertarian, I constantly have to deal with radical leftists coming into my comment section relying on some straw man about the age of consent when they got creepers in their own camp trying to normalize minor attracted person to be more inclusive. The bottom line is I'm tired of everybody, regardless of their political affiliation, using accusations of kid diddling to slander their political opponents because not only is it a bad faith argument, but more importantly, it draws attention away from the actual issue at hand.
Male feminists, but all men that they fear as predators. You dismiss them and push back, saying,
And you're okay with them weaponizing trauma to justify prejudice?
I stand by that statement, proudly, because it's the same argument that Klansmen used to use against black people, dude. In fact, men arguably have just as much to fear from women, but we're not even allowed to talk about it. And anytime we try to discuss female abusers, abuse tactics, or any type of toxic female behavior whatsoever, what do women do? Oh yeah, but men grape us. Like the little boy who cried wolf. If you keep bringing up stuff ad nauseum when it's not even relevant to the conversations, people will eventually stop caring and dismiss you. Kind of like the next example you tried to use against me.
Issues to their safety that they face, such as in the military.
It's the military! Who told you it was going to be pleasant or comfortable? What you are proving is that you are completely tone deaf to the fact that the exact same stuff happens to men too.
I stand by that statement too, because they didn't say anything about SA rates in the military. They were just talking about what women deal with in the military, which is actually the exact same stuff as men by and large. But here's a plot twist. In that very video you are using, I mentioned that I know multiple different women who have served in the military, including the Libertarian Party's chair for the Veterans Caucus. You know what she's told me? Women assault each other at disproportionately high rates in the military. You want to discuss that little aspect? It's kind of convenient that you cut that part out of your video.
War against feminism and would be famous for what he was going to do to women. The same man who was kicked out of his MRA group, Men Are Human.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that last part one more time?
Kicked out of his MRA group, Men Are Human.
Wow! We hold our own accountable, just like I said in my original video.
Or when Liz recently talked about someone sending her a violent gang video.
First and foremost, Liz is just as intellectually dishonest as you, and she blocked me a while ago when I called her out on one of her misinformation videos. So there's literally no way I would have known about that. Furthermore, the whole "I'm all your mother's" tag tells me that she really doesn't have much room to judge because she's probably involved with kink and findom, just so she can use it as an excuse to justify abusing men in the bedroom. And that is something that is actually really common in kink communities, and no, I'm not shaming anyone. Hell, I'm into findom myself. I'm mutuals with Latex Queen, Goddess Sylvanus, one of the biggest soft doms on TikTok. Fellas, if you really want a good soft dom, I'm gonna tag her below. Please go give her a follow. She's actually great. You've probably seen me stitch her videos for my She's a Fed bit that I do on my channel. She also has a nice gun collection. But yeah, it should go without saying that a community that's built on whips, chains, and bondage might attract a few bad customers from both men, women, and everything in between, I guess. But at the end of the day, just about all of your video was nothing more than either a straw man argument or a whataboutism. And not to mention, you completely glossed over the fact that feminists, both on TikTok and off TikTok, have been making excuses and deifying female serial killers like Aline Warner's, which you did not address at all. You also glossed over the fact that feminist writers and feminist influencers on this app were making excuses for Amber Heard throughout the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and were saying that the trial and the precedent set was going to be bad for women as a whole, because drawing attention to how abusive women often get away with it and rarely face consequences is somehow bad for women at large. At the end of the day, nothing you said in your video debunks what I said in my video, and you're avoiding the core of the problem that I brought up. But what should I expect from a self-proclaimed former incel who realized that all he had to do to get women was never hold them accountable and constantly repeat what they want to hear back to them?